Hello, 7th graders! We are now starting section 2.3, which actually has an A, B, C, and D. We have broken it apart into 4 non-painful sections. So, starting off, multiplying rational numbers, that's right, decimals. So basically, we're going to use the information that you went through in your summer packet when you were multiplying decimals, and I think that was lesson 8. So if you need some help with how to multiply, 3 and 2-digit numbers, go to that section. It'll help you out. We'll try to help you out here too. All right, so when you're given a problem with decimals and you have to multiply, all you're going to do, step 1, you're going to want to rewrite the problem vertically, up and down. You want the larger number of digits on the top. So you're not looking for the larger value, you're looking for the larger number of digits. You can switch the order because of the commutative property of multiplication. You don't have to line up the decimal points. Multiply the numbers as if they were whole numbers. Ignoring the decimal points is what you'll do second. So you'll just old school like you learned back in the day, you're going to multiply them out. And at the very end, you don't bring a decimal point down because they weren't lined up to begin with. What you need to do is count the number of digits to the right of the decimal point in the problem. And then you just make sure that the same number of digits are behind the decimal point in the answer. And we've added positives and negatives to the mix, of course. So if you're multiplying 2 numbers with the same sign, your answer will be positive. If you have one of each, your answer will be negative. Number 4, use estimation. See if your answer makes sense. Always double check and ask yourself that question. All right, so for starters, we have 2.8 or 2 8/10 multiplied by -3 and 77/100. So step 1, we want to write this problem vertically with a larger number of digits on the top. Also what I would do, I want you to ignore the signs for now. This is a positive 2 8/10 and this is a negative 3 and 77/100. So a positive times a negative, we know our answer is going to be negative. So knowing that, we can now ignore the signs. We don't need to write them in the problem. So this has a larger number of digits, so I'm going to write that on the top. And we're multiplying that by 2.8. Again, we're not lining up the decimal points, just writing 2.8 underneath it like you would from back a long time ago. Okay, so now ignore your decimal points and we're just going to multiply 8 by all of those. So 8 times 7 is 56. I'll write the 6 and carry the 5. 8 times 7 again is 56. 56 plus 5 is 61. And 8 times 3 is 24. 24 plus 6 is 30. Okay, that's step 1. I'm going to grab another color. Helps. Plus I have all these fun pens you'll get to know in class, I'm sure. Okay, so now we're multiplying this 2 by all 3 of those. And notice 2 is 1 over. That's where I want to start down here. So I usually use a 0 to fill that place. Some of you just skip a space and leave it blank because you know blank means 0. Whatever your cup of tea is, have it. So 2 times 7 is 14. I'm carrying the 1. 2 times 7 is 14 again, plus 1 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. And now at this point, you need to add them together. 6 plus 0 is 6. 1 plus 4 is 5. 0 plus 5 is 5. And 3 plus 7 is 10. Now, here's the part where you have to figure out where the decimal point goes. Notice that in the problem, there are 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal point. So in your solution, you need 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal point. And in the beginning, we said this was a negative result, so that means our answer is -10 and 556 thousandths. All right, we're not done. Sorry. We have 3 more lovely examples, because just one wouldn't be enough fun for me too. Okay, so again, it's a negative, and yes, these parentheses right next to that means you're multiplying. A positive times a negative will be a negative. So we know our answer is negative. We can kind of ignore the signs now. I want to write the larger number of digits on the top. So this would be the larger number of digits. I'm multiplying that by a -7. I'm just going to write 7. Again, we can ignore the signs for now. And we're going to multiply it through. Yes, I'm going to do it the long way. So if you look at this thinking, I already know, then write it down. That's fine. But I'm going to do it the long way. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 0 is 0. In the problem, there are 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal point. That means in my solution, I need 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal point. Also note, this should be a negative result. So our answer should be negative 21 thousandths. Alright, next, I have negative 6 3/10 multiplied by negative 6/10. This is a negative multiplied by another negative, so we know our answer is going to be a positive answer. We can kind of ignore the signs for now, go about this the way we did back in the day. They both have the same number of digits, so I'll just put the 6.3 in the top spot. Why not? And 0 and 6/10 can go on the bottom. If you wanted to drop out that 0, you could also do that. I'm going to keep it. Okay, 6 times 3, 18. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 1 is 37. When you multiply 0 through, it's just going to be a bunch of zeros, and if you add 0 to that, it's going to be that, so you don't need to go through all of that. We have 2 digits behind the decimal point in this. That means my solution needs to have 2 digits behind the decimal point. We said our result was going to be positive because we're multiplying 2 negatives, so 3 7/8 is our solution. Last one. Woohoo! All right. Negative 1.3, or negative 1 3/10, squared. This doesn't mean that I'm multiplying this by 2. This means that I'm taking negative 1 3/10 and multiplying it by itself. And we have talked about exponents. It's just a nice little refresher. So this 2 tells me how many negative 1 3/10 are being multiplied. So negative times negative, I know that I'm going to have a positive result. Same number of digits in each, so just set it up as 1.3 times 1.3. Alright, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 1 is 3. And again, since I'm starting to multiply this second digit and it's over in this slot, I need a filler here. So 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 1 is 1. We add them together. 9 plus 0 is 9, 3 plus 3 is 6, and 1 plus nothing is 1. And notice there are 2 digits behind the decimal point in the problem, so there need to be 2 digits behind the decimal point in the solution. We said this was a positive answer because it's a negative multiplied by another negative. So our result is 1 69 hundredths. See you tomorrow.